Good afternoon, good evening, good morning to all my witches, warlocks, writers, and wanderers. I am KibbyRose. I am here to fill your day with a little bit of horoscopy, witchy, and maybe some pop culture thingies. I'm going to talk your ear off, maybe entertain you for a minute. So let me roll the intro so we can ride. So hello to everybody. I honestly am not expecting many people to be in the live today, simply because it has been one of those days for me, one of those crazy mornings for me. Energies were hard to lock down. My horoscope was definitely on point. And reading over everybody else's horoscopes today, I was like, yeah, we're probably going to have a rough day. So I don't expect that many people to be in here today. So we might be rambling a little bit. We might be going off topic. Usually it's my comment section that keeps me on track and keeps me, conversating about the same thing. Because if you know me, you know I can start here and go like this in a conversation and then end here. Still hitting all the points of my conversation, but Anyway, so I am going to do my best to try to stay on track, but forgive me. Today has been one of those, calming salt morning type of energies, and just trying to do my best to mitigate and organize and everything else. And since I know everybody else is that way, we're going to just have a good, calm, easygoing, I'm going to talk your ear off, kind of day. So we've got our general forecast that I'm going to give you. I'm figuring out exactly how I want to do the layout of this channel now that we've been, doing it consistently for a minute. I've decided that on Wednesdays, I'm going to start giving the horoscopes at the beginning. Okay, because I've realized that by giving the horoscopes by the end of the stream, pretty much Wednesdays over for most of you, and really it's only the last half of the horoscope that you need. So I'm going to start switching that up where I give you more of an afternoon into Thursday forecast, and then on Friday or on Thursdays I'm going to do the horoscopes at the end of the stream, since I do the Friday, Saturday, Sunday into Monday forecast. So just so you all know, that is how I'm going to start doing that setup. And then I'm going to start sharing a little bit more about my book for two reasons. Number one, I decided I needed to go back and do an outline for my first book, the way I did the outline for the second and the third book. Simply because I am struggling again, where I'm having situations come up in book 2 where I need to reference stuff that happened in book 1, and scanning through 162 pages of text like this to find exactly the information I need when it's like one little line has become an issue. So forgive me. Give me 1 second. And I knew I was going to have problems with my throat today and my voice today because A, the weather turned really cold yesterday and I had to spend some time outside. And B, I really didn't talk that much this morning. I was actually very quiet this morning and I didn't get a chance to warm up my voice. And I am a singer, so I'm engaging my diaphragm to try to talk and not wreck my voice. But yeah, just know my voice isn't warmed up for today. And if you know YouTubers, you know that to talk a long time and consistently to yourself, you do need to have your voice warmed up. So those are two things we're going to do. And then the third thing I'm going to do is I've decided that, so horoscopes every day, but Wednesdays in the morning, Thursdays at night, and at the end. I'm going to discuss a little bit more about my book, since that's going to be hopefully. Words are hard. published by the end of the year. I think my brain was trying to put together hope and published in one word. And yeah, that was the conclusion of it. And then thirdly, I'm going to pick a holiday that comes out of every month, whether it's a Wiccan holiday or an American holiday. And I'm going, because I noticed that I have a lot of international, or not international, but worldly viewers. I've got some people in Ireland. I've got some people in Australia. I've got some people in Africa. So I thought it would be fun to not only share the Wiccan holidays, but also maybe some of our American holidays as well. And so, as you can see behind me, I have my pile of holiday cookbooks. I usually plan a Yule dinner. It's something I've always, well, I do it, but I've never been able to actually create it. But I thought, since I've kind of got down to detail how to plan a holiday dinner down to the decorations, I thought that I would share that with you guys and maybe help you come up with some innovative ways to have your holiday dinner. And frankly, I know it's only December 5th, but if you haven't started thinking about prepping and organizing for your holiday dinner for Christmas, if you're having one, I highly recommend you start doing so, because with the energies that we see coming up this month, Christmas will be here before you have a second to even realize that you need to start organizing. Okay. So I'm going to be here to kind of be your cheerleaders and try to help you stay on track. Okay. So that's going to kind of be the format of what we're going to be moving forward with this channel. And then I am going to still have my little rants of talking points to fill in little areas, simply because my angels come in with this stuff to alert things about the changes in energies in the world's structure and how it influences people on a worldly level. And since I noticed, and especially Cora, I know for a fact that some of you have your own YouTube channels, and this can help you kind of navigate, the energies that might be hitting your channel, especially if you don't know where they're coming from. Like all of a sudden something becomes really popular and you're like, why? Well, it might actually have to do with your energies. Okay. Because there's going to be a lot of, I've repeated this several times. By the end of this month, you're either going to be successful and launching yourself for the new year, or you are going to fall flat on your face and have to start from scratch. Okay. Yeah. So now that my brain started thinking of over 100 different things that I have to deal with, why don't we hop into the comments? Because Cora came in. Hi, girl. And this is why I love you guys in the comments, because you keep me on track. Puts my brain back on gear. Hi, everyone. In the middle of a snowstorm. So it's just, and I warned you guys about this. I know. Cora's like, wait, what? Or I wonder if you are. I did warn you guys about this a couple streams ago. I said the first week of December, you guys are going to get a horrible, they're not, I said it, that they're not predicting it right. It was going to be one of those horrific snowstorms that sets the tone for the rest of the year. So I'm sorry that Miss Cora is in the middle of it. I hope you listened to me and prepped and planned and accordingly. If not, here's your warning to start listening to my weather updates, because the week of December 16th and 17th, the 15th, that week, there's going to be, let me look at that. Not next week, but the week after. Their reference, and I see this happening on the weather channels again. They're not quite, the models aren't quite showing the drastic drop of Arctic weather that is about to come down and hit again. So yeah, last night my internet was going in and out too. Yeah, and that I also referenced that I hope that states are paying attention to this, because the infrastructure might not be able to handle the fluctuation that's going to happen. So if you haven't started, and girl, and Cora, just hear me out. They're showing this for the rest of winter. Okay, through January, this is going to happen. So I prep. I talked about maybe making a room in your house where you can harbor down just in case anything really bad happens. My angels might have been coming in talking to you, honey. So I would go back and listen to a couple of my streams, or maybe or you and I can actually have a session together if we need to do a reading for you of what to do to get down to the nitty gritty. But also the fact that you're a Virgo, and I see a lot of this weekend's not going to be a good weekend for you Virgos. So just a heads up, okay? Prepare. I know, and I feel like she was just like, oh my God, no. But yes, Virgos, no. You guys are going to have a very rough month this month. If there's anybody who's going to have a very difficult lesson learning, digging through the cracks and having to mend holes and situations, having to take accountability and change yourself, having to redirect, resurface, remend, that is what's going to happen all this month. And unfortunately, it just so happens to be where the planets lie in the Virgo's chart for this month. And I get into it later, but if there's anybody who's going to feel the hardest kick in the pants this season, it's going to be Virgos, and my heart goes out to Virgos. This weekend, I'm planning on hiding. You should. By the way, I'm breaking up with winter. Summer is so much hotter. See, I like the fall. I like the fall and the spring. Those are where I tend to date because they stay right in the middle. It's not too hot. They're my Goldilocks zones. Oh, I'm with you, girl. Yeah, see, summer's too hot for me. I get burned. Winter's too cold. I get burned the same way. I like to stay right there in the spring and summer zone because it's comfy and nice. Anyway, so for all of you that are currently live with me right now, make a wish. It is 1:11 my time. So make a wish for whatever. I like spring and fall, but summer is my one true love. Winter can suck. So Cora, tell us how you really feel regarding the snowstorm you're sitting in at the moment. Oh, honey, I'm so sorry. Well, I'll send you a bunch of my calming, like, we might have to have you place a special order to get some calming salts. You might have to Benadryl for the kids. That's what my mom used to give me when I wasn't calming down enough. I'm not recommending that people drug their kids to subdue them. However, during a snowstorm, it might help with anxiety and everything else because gosh only knows how the kids, because kids can feed off their parents, and if their parents are overwhelmed and anxiety filled, then so are the kids, and so on and so forth. So anyway, for anybody who's for all of you, for those who know me, this is going to be quite a shock. For anybody who's local, I highly recommend you come down because it's probably going to be a once in a lifetime thing. A friend of mine, a new friend of mine here in Spokane, has invited me out to the bar to do karaoke. And since my horoscope keeps telling me to take a leap of faith and do new things, I'm actually going to go try and do karaoke. I'm going to see if I can actually not, completely die of anxiety and panic attack to get on stage and sing in front of people. It is so much easier to do it with a screen in front of you. Honestly, like, truthfully, since some of you don't live stream, what it's kind of like is looking at the mirror and talking to yourself, because StreamYard has you basically seeing yourself. So there's a comfort in it. You can kind of get away with thinking you're just in front of your mirror. There's not thousands of people watching, but standing on a stage and trying to stay, we shall see what happens. It's not bad now, but the wind is bad. The kids are doing all right for now. Well, I'm glad. Well, it's going to get worse. Just know it's going to get worse. Your angels are referencing that you're just at the butt of it because you do. And I think we talked about this yesterday. You get the lake effect, and that's going to come in later this afternoon as it starts cooling down when the sun goes down. So just be warned. Get the animals outside now to go to the potty. and then, you know, restrict water usage. Wow, I sound like such a bad person. I know what to do in an emergency because you know, unfortunately, a lot of the things that I'm sharing come from tactics we used when I was homeless, like restricting your liquid intake through the night so that you didn't have to, you know, drive to a park at 2:00 in the morning and walk to a public bathroom and climb over sleeping homeless people to use a cold metal toilet at, you know, at 2 a.m. Just to pee. It's not something I recommend. So, you know, a lot of this stuff, that's what I've learned tactics on how to mitigate this stuff during kind of like emergency level circumstances, because I was homeless and I had to figure out how to survive. So I'm not, it sounds like such a bad person, like give your kids Benadryl and restrict water intake. And I swear I'm not Ruby Frankie. I'm just saying, oh gosh, which by the way, Cora, that's another case we got to cover. If y'all haven't looked at the whole Ruby Frankie and that whole parent family YouTube drama channel, wow. Yeah, that stuff was intense. And I swear I'm not her. I'm just, yeah. Emergency circumstances call for emergency, you know, circumstances. Triage does exist, but we're not in triage situations. Wow, I'm just making myself sound worse. Okay, I'm going to stop now. Anyway, so I hope all of you are paying attention to the weather. If you're up in the North 40s, as my father used to call it, simply because it is going to if y'all were watching what game was that? I think it was the Buffalo game. It was the game that was played last Sunday in Buffalo. I've been watching a lot of games. I'm getting confused on the teams. They had such a snowstorm that the AI had to try to mitigate it. It was intense. The announcers even had to say that the graphics you see on screen were computer produced because they couldn't see them anymore on the field. So and it's going to be that kind of thing for where you all are. That we already covered. Yes, the Frankie case was intense. And I'm glad that it's now over and done with, because now I feel more comfortable talking about it. I don't like family channels. I'll just admit it. I don't like family YouTube channels. Frankly, I don't even like the TLC type stuff, simply because I feel like it's complete exploitation of people, and and innocent people, and I just don't like it. We should do some, I already know a lot about it, but that'll be something that we have to add to the list. That list is getting longer and longer for our Lottie. So a couple of things that I just wanted to touch base on, because I mentioned it a couple months ago, and I've noticed this is happening again. There was 3 large eruptions that occurred last week. 2 of them were underwater eruptions over off of the coast of Hawaii, and the other one was near Stromboli in Italy. So if you guys haven't been watching, there has been some major magnetic magma movement going on. Okay. This also correlates to a solar polar flip. Basically, the sun's poles flipped. Surprisingly, this has caused kind of a downtick in solar flare activity. However, my gut instinct is telling me it's the calm before the storm. And that's the only reason I'm bringing this up, is because they're referencing that, yes, hurricane season has ended. Volcanoes have been erupting even worse. There's a major amount of ground movement and earthquake movement in California, to the point that they're actually watching the seismographs every day now. And the fact that the karmic lesson for next year that's building up is responsibility and wisdom. I'm just worried about, just be aware of what is going on, just in case anything happens. It almost seems to me that even the Middle East is aware something is happening, because yes, it's interesting that things automatically died down as soon as Trump was elected, but it's also in correlation to the fact that the solar poles flipped. There's a huge change in Mercury retrograde. There's another huge change that happens today with Mars retrograde. We've got Venus influencing love, compassion, and power. We have Pluto that's moved out of a transient that's been in for 10 years. That's causing a more deeper investigation on underlying layers and having revelations. When it comes to the energy chart, there's a lot of us psychics that, and I've been saying this, that there is going to be a huge awakening in December where a lot of people are going to start turning kind of towards trying to understand the energies and the poles and the powers of planets and the influences on us, simply because if you don't understand those energies, navigating this time is going to be very difficult. So for those of you who are listening, you're very lucky because y'all are getting an insight into how to navigate this crazy time. For the rest of them, just kind of in regards to that, remember to have a little bit of graciousness towards other people. Okay, not everybody gets, is smart enough to get insight onto what might be affecting their life other than themselves. Okay, so just breathe, have a little bit of graciousness for people. And one of the over arcs that I'm going to warn now before we get into the forecast later is be careful of passive aggressive energies, both coming from yourself and from others. Don't be the jackass, basically. Okay. So I'm going to keep repeating that there's this karmic lesson coming in. Okay. For 2025. For those of you that are wondering as to how I came to this karmic lesson number, you just basically add up the numbers in 2025. Give me a second because I'm trying to do this. Okay. So basically, 2025, 5 plus 2 plus 0 plus 2 equals 9. Okay. And that's how you come up with the karmic lesson number. We are probably, saw that. I'm not bad. I swear I just saw something pop up and then disappear. That was very interesting. Okay. Anyway, Cora might be bopping in and out because gosh knows how good her internet is being. We're going to jump into a sprint since it's been 20 minutes. And I was about to say, I can feel that tickle coming into my throat. Okay, so after this sprint, I'm going to share with you guys a little bit about the Yule dinner that I'm planning. Actually, I'll share a little bit about the story, and then I will share a little bit about the Yule dinner that we're planning, or I'm planning. Will I be able to make it? We'll see. Truthfully, probably not. The cost for ingredients would probably far exceed anything that I could afford myself, or that or that I would want to put on pressure of anybody else to afford for me. So, is this more of a let's pretend, let's have fun and plan a Yule party that maybe we can have in the future? Yes, because I like to be able to do that. But I will be sharing a little bit after my book, a little bit of my book after the sprint. But for now, we're going to jump into 20 minutes. So you're going to get 20 minutes of silence to think and do some work without me yapping in your ear while I get some work done myself. All right. And in 3, 2, 1, and don't forget to mute yourself. All right, time's up. We are done with that sprint. Time is up. So I am back to chitty chat your little ear off. I hope you were able to get some work done. I chugged right along. I got 3 pages done, let's see, 356 words done on that sprint. So I would have to say that's pretty good. 356 words in 20 minutes with when it's actually an outline. I thought was pretty good. So to give you a little bit of background about my book, since that's one of the things that I was going to be talking after my sprint, is I'm kind of doing this outline kind of like you would do see a script or a screenplay, I guess. Like I'm kind of converting chapters into scenes, because that's how I set it up for my book 2, and it was just a lot easier for my brain to follow along with, because I'm like, oh yeah, act 3 scene 2, because certain character, like when I get into book 2, I'm bouncing between 2 different worlds, because book 1 is all about Aerie and the mistress and Trinity and the town that is in this like seclusion bubble, because they're all magical people. They're all magical creatures. They all have the DNA sequence that allows them to do magical things if taught to do so. Okay. It is something you're born with. So the first book talks about how this young lady, Aerie, my main character, basically becomes awakened within this town. Like she suddenly comes to, for this entire time, the mistress and her brother have been able to work together to not only suppress the magical powers, but also kind of keep this entire world hidden from the real world for hundreds of years. So everybody that lives in this bubble still lives by candlelight. They barely have running water. They don't know what electricity is. They have definitely kept themselves kind of secluded, or the mistress and Alex have kept them secluded from any technologies in the coming worlds, because they were afraid that even that people with the magical abilities, when given technology, would just continue to advance themselves beyond what others were capable of. And they saw this as an imbalance to society instead of a way to build society up. So for like 300 to 500 years, I haven't figured out the exact timeline yet. The mistress has lived within this town, in this bubble, keeping it, in the Middle Ages, while her brother has pretty much ran what we call town center, which is a middle world that links the 2 worlds together. Okay. And you find out in the second book that because Aerie has become awakened and because her energy has started breaking apart the shield, the people in town, Alex is losing his control and manipulation of the brainwashing of the people of town center. He's basically it's becoming harder and harder to convince these people that they're living in a world where magic doesn't exist and it's just technology. Okay. And because they use this center city as a way to transport magical beings and creatures, because the truth is, Alex is kind of part of the SCP Foundation, or the foundation that takes anomalies and entities and supposedly tries to protect them, but is actually testing on them. Okay. And you find out in the first book that these children seem to be disappearing every time they start showing any signs of inability to be controlled. They start disappearing. And in the second book, you find out that Alex is the one that has been causing these children to disappear. And he has been moving them to a whole nother world that is in book 3, which actually, once we get to book 3, there's 4 worlds that we navigate between. So doing it as act 1, scene 1 in book to do the outline for book 1 just really helping me navigate the scenarios, because instead of saying, oh, chapter 3 this happens, I'm able to say, no, okay, so we know that in act 1 this happens. For some reason I was able to break down the navigation and the details of the characters and remember it better, because I keep, in the second book, I keep Alex's and the town center to the odd scenes, and I keep the mistress and Aries world to the even scenes. So I'm able to kind of have this equal navigation between the two. It's with how much information is in my head, this has been the easiest way to be able to break it down. So, because there are so many worlds inside worlds, because just inside the town or the bubble, there's not just the penitentiary where Ari and the mistress and the children are kept and tested on. There's also an entire town center and city where, people think they're still living normally in the, dark ages. And then you have an entire forest of magical creatures that are fully aware, but they're not allowed, they're fully aware of what's going on, but they can't do anything about it because of this bubble and the shield, and they can't get out of this certain boundary center. Basically, if you walk into the wall, it returns you back to your place, and you just start, you don't even realize you've just immediately been turned around, but that's what it does to you when you hit the shield, supposedly, because that all changes by the end of book 2 or book 1. So I was able to get through at least the first chapter, and this is a description of the characters and the locations, because I started it where I have act 1, then the description of the characters, and then the description of the location, and then I have act 1 scene 1, and then I have the bullet points breakdown of it. And so that's where I was able to get, and that was 356 words on that sprint. So that's where I'll be picking up after we do this. So I just wanted to share with you guys, because I'm always bouncing between projects, because I can't get focused too long on one thing, or else I start getting cross-eyed and go blind. And because I have time blindness, oftentimes, sitting down and working on one project for multiple periods of time causes, I can't do it. So my mom used to call them piles. One good thing as an adult is I learned to kind of get the piles to a level of completion before moving on to the next one. But this is one of my piles. So I shared with you all before my 3 favorite cookbooks. And as you can see, they look a little bit different because they're full of tabs now. And there's a reason for that. Okay. So my 3 favorite cookbooks. Actually, truthfully, this is my favorite cookbook. But shh, don't tell me. We don't need jealousy among the books, Okay. So one thing, I kind of cheated a little bit. I usually have my own layout of how I'm going to do things, because I'm a color coder. So I've always had this kind of key where I have this appetizers, breads and soups, salads, main meals, sides, dinner, the full drinks, and then desserts. And drinks are a little bit different, because I like to do drinks for matching the meals. So let me show you what I'm doing. And truthfully, I started this when I was living on my own for the holidays, because I found myself getting lonely, and I figured, why not just plan a meal if I'm lonely, since I have nobody to do it for, and then that way it occupies my time as well, and maybe I'll have a plan for the future. However, this year I did discover, because, come here, this book I got last Christmas. And since I got it kind of late, I didn't really have time. I looked through the recipes and stuff, but I didn't really get to dive into like the details of the book. And in doing my work to do my menu, I came across this really cool section in this book that is literally party planning. Okay. And I thought this was awesome because I was like, you're kidding me. Not only do they have suggestions for the menus, which are absolutely awesome, and they give you a full picture of it, but they also give you activities to do and ideas to plan. Let me show you. So that's their Christmas Eve menu. So, and they use all the recipes from this book. So it gives you a really good idea. They even did Boxing Day. Okay. So it gives you a really good idea of what you can use for appetizers and everything else. And then they have, where'd it go? They have a whole section on it. I must have skipped it because they have the White Elephant gift exchange. And I know they have other ones because because I pulled a couple from them. But I kind of used this as a little cheat way of being like, okay, so what did they use as an appetizer? What did they say was a side? Because when it comes to planning a meal, if you're a chef, you can discover that there's a lot of things that can be intertwined between a side or an appetizer or a starter versus a salad, or, there's ways to manipulate the entire thing. So what I started to do is I took, because I have it color coded, like you saw, I have these little tabs that I get, Post-it tabs. And I used these to mark throughout the book the appetizers and everything else. And the reason that I did this was because ultimately what I will do is I will take the page and I will print it out. I'll copy it and print it out on my copier. And then I will organize a notebook to create the actual dinner. So for those of you that are interested, I always have this kind of plan laid out where I pick, this is kind of what I pick from. So in appetizers, I usually make sure I have between 6 and 8 selections. For the pre-meals, which is like the salads, the breads and stuff, I usually try to choose like 2 or 3 for each category. So like 2 different salads, 2 different breads, 2 different, okay? And I'm not saying this is what you're going to make. I'm just saying ultimately to give yourself a better selection to figure out what matches with what with your menu, because you want to have a good, you want your course to go smoothly if you actually do a full course meal. It gives you a better idea of how you can group things together. Okay. And then once I did that, I had my sloppy little list, and then I went through, and once I had my sloppy little list, I tabbed everything. So the next step that you guys will see will be when I copy them and I print them out, and then I set up my notebook. And the way I set up my notebook is I basically look for similar ingredients. Okay. This is kind of how you cheat as a chef. So you print them all out, you get all the recipes in front of you, and you go through each recipe and you figure out who has similar ingredients. So that way, number one, you're not spending a fortune on 5,000 different ingredients that you're only going to use like one little pinch of. Number two, the flavors are all going to mold and blend together throughout the entire meal because you're using the same palette along the whole line. And number three, again, you're going to be using multiples of multiple ingredients. So you're going to be saving money in the long run, even if you do have to run out and buy something. You're not going to just be using a pinch of it. You're going to be using multiple stuff. So, and if you have any picky eaters, it's a lot easier to be able to take one ingredient out of multiple dishes than it is to try to modify multiple dishes several different ways, if that makes sense. So you guys, I will be sharing later how I actually do that. So in the future, when I have them all printed out, I can actually, since we figured out a way to be able to, sorry if this makes anybody dizzy, warning, I figured out a way to be able to share my desk with you. So we can actually go over the paperwork together, and I can show you how to work with, match up the ingredients and everything else. So those are just some tricks of the trade that I have when it comes to meal planning. for any big Yule dinners. And this also comes in handy if you make a little binder, because next year comes along, you'll already have it set and pre-prepped. And not only that, but you can just kind of change out menu items or anything else. The only time I've ever had to restart the whole binder is either A, you lose it, like so happened, or B, I'm gonna adjust that. Somebody create an allergy develops, or somebody comes into the family that doesn't like a certain ingredient, so long and so forth. Which does happen, because you can't fight who you fall in love with. All right, so we're going to jump into another sprint real quick. And then after that sprint, I'm going to go over our weekend forecast for all of you astrological signs. And this is going to be a little prep from Friday to Saturday to Sunday, and a little bit into Monday. Simply because we have the influence of the planets that are coming in right now with Venus, Pluto, and Jupiter. These are shifts and movements that are long-term shifts and movements. So I was able to give a little bit longer of a forecast because, there's a lot of changes that are going to be happening, which is an overarch. But when it comes to everybody's oh, wow, I just missed a bunch of comments. Everybody's personal arc, truthfully, we're all over the place, and you can blame Jupiter and Pluto for shifting positions for that. Okay. Spent the time resting my brain. Well, here you go, girl. We got another sprint where you can start resting your brain, because I tend to make you think, or just fill it up with a bunch of useless noise, and then you're like, oh my God, I got to cipher through that. Anyway, I'll see you in 20 minutes. 3, 2, 1. And don't forget to mute yourself. All right, y'all, time is up. That is the end of that sprint. That was 20 minutes. I hope you got some work done. I hope you were able to achieve whatever you were on your to-do list to achieve, or at least have a break from me yapping your ear off. Hello, Dr. Zero Zeron Free Magical Secrets Show. Hello, hello. Welcome to the live. It's nice. You're welcome to come in and say hello. Thank you for coming and watching. I really appreciate it. So real quick, during that sprint, I was able to get, so I was at 350 something words on the last sprint. I'm now at 755 words after that sprint. I was able to get to chapter 3, halfway through chapter 3, which is, or more than halfway through. I'm almost at the end of chapter 3, 3/4 of the way through, in the outline, which is awesome. So I'm moving right along with it. I'm realizing, putting in outline form, just how much information I have put into the book, considering I'm at 9 pages in my book, but only at 2 pages in my note, my outline. It's one of those things where I was like, wow, did I really turn like 5 bullet points into an entire page? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Okay. Because I had this outline before. I didn't use it and I got rid of it. And now, yeah, it's one of those things where I got rid of it without thinking. And now that I'm writing the book or the outline for book 2, I'm like, oh, gonna need that. So, Cora, I actually read 1.5 pages of a book with my kids. Interruptions. Well, you know what? 1.5 pages with 3 kids under the age of 7 as interrupting you. That's pretty darn good. So before we get into this astrological thing, I want to bring up a little conversation that I have brought up since the beginning of this whole debacle. Snow White, the Snow White trailer drama ordeal with Miss Rachel Zegler and everything else. So, there's a connection that I think I see that hasn't been discussed yet or brought to the forefront, but I'm making my prediction now. Okay. I am a big fan. Some of this might really surprise you. I am actually a big fan of Brett Cooper on the Daily Wire. There's a lot of her. I'm the type of person that enjoys other people's viewpoints for stimulation. Like, it's not like I like her because she doesn't push her opinion on you. She just gives you the facts. And I like that type of thing because it makes me think. It makes me maybe either stand even more firm behind my own personal convictions, or it makes me reassess and maybe make me rethink things. So I am a big fan of Brett Cooper, and I've watched her not only for other things, but also because of the Snow White thing. I actually giggled when she started commenting on the whole Snow White, Rachel Zegler situation. And this is why it giggles me. I have to double check Brett Cooper's birthday. But I feel like there's something going on where Brett Cooper and Rachel Zegler are like polar opposites on the actual astronomy chart, like astrological signs, because Rachel Zegler is a Taurus, and boy, has she been following the path, the energy trails on the negative side for her sign. Tauruses spent the whole summer learning some major lessons. They were given a great big kick in the pants and a huge wake-up call. You're not all that in a can of Pringles if you thought you were. Basically, what was going on for Tauruses this summer. And that's exactly what happened with Rachel. I made a little short TikTok on my own YouTube page when they came out with the second Snow White trailer. October 12th. So they're complete opposites. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Then they are opposites. If she's a Scorpio or she's a Libra, because Rachel Zegler's birthday is May 3rd or May 2nd, something like that. She's a Taurus and Brett's a Libra. Yep. So they would, oh, wow. So there is something going on here. So let me continue, because what I think is going on is this. I think Brett Cooper is butting heads with the Daily Wire, because I think Rachel Zegler threw such a hissy fit over the fact that the Daily Wire and Brett Cooper were creating their own Snow White, that Disney came in and decided to threaten to sue, because they know their Snow White is not going to do well. I even announced it when I saw the second trailer come out, and I was like, y'all thought the first trailer was bad. Yeah. Oh, they have literally brutalized the entire, like they have just taken the story, gutted it with a knife, displayed the innards on a freaking wall, and just set fire to it with gasoline. That's pretty much what they did with Snow White. And Rachel Zegler stood there the whole time going, yay, let's do this. Anyway, what I think happened, and I think that's why Brett Cooper is now butting heads with Daily Wire, is because here's my stance on it. And if this is happening, this is my stance on it. Yeah, they need to they can't throw in the towel on it, because it cost them $625 million to make. They have to recoup their losses somehow. Unfortunately, at this point, even I said like they need to scrap it, but financially they can't afford to scrap it. It's too late. All they can do right now is scrap everything else and try to save money on the back end. And that's what they're doing. And that's why Rachel Zegler has lost over $15 million in projects. Actually, it's her mouth that lost her the projects, because I guarantee if her mouth didn't go on the blow up rampage that it did, they probably would have figured out how to shuffle her into other projects. But now that her mouth got in the way, that's, but here's the thing is, a lot of you are like, well, Brett Cooper's mouth. Yes. But Brett Cooper is known for her mouth. Okay. Number one. Number two, know your audience. Number three, Brett Cooper may go on social tirades, but she's usually got facts and information to back up everything. Number four, if I was Brett Cooper, I can understand where she's trying to fight this and where she maybe wants to go full bore and put her head down and go. However, it's one of those things where I honestly believe take the knee. You made your point. Your version of Snow White would have been better. However, it is not worth the legal battle and damaging of your reputation, because the truth is if Brett Cooper, and this is just my opinion, this is all my opinion and how I feel like it's going to happen. If she tries to take the avenue of fist fighting the Daily Wire to make her version of Snow White happen, she's going to come out on the outside of this looking like Rachel Zegler. And that's the last thing she probably wants. So in my advice, if I was her, I would just take the knee and be like, we made our point. Everybody got the point. Everybody saw it. We all know, just take it as we all know that your Snow White would have done far better. It's just the cage of the beast is already being riled from every angle. Don't choose to be one to join the charade. Be the smart one. Don't follow the herd. Be the smart one and take a step back and just take the win for the win and go from there. The energies are not in her favor as a Libra for her to be able to make these actions, and with favors not being that great for Tauruses, unless this whole energy about everything being awakened responsibilities, taking accountability and everything else. I love you, Brett Cooper, but take the knee on this one is my advice. I liked her opinion on the Barbie. See, and here's the thing. There's a lot of the things that she says where I'm like, you know what? I actually like your opinion on that. And I struggle with it because I am an independent. I try not to be one side or the other. I misrepresented myself for a while because I thought that's what a liberal was. I didn't know a liberal was a Democratic. I don't know when that happened. So I identify as an independent. Sometimes I understand the blue side. Sometimes I understand the red side, but truthfully, I'm white. I'm the one down the middle because we are red, white, and blue. I'm in the middle. I'm the white guys. So that's why usually elections really ruffle my feathers, because I'm like, no matter who comes into presidency, it's usually not the person I want to be moving up. Anyway, but there's a lot of stuff that Brett Cooper says in her opinions, and she backs up her opinions with fact. A lot of her opinions are like mine, where, well, better than mine. Hers are well researched. Like she has the technology and the means and the capability to do it, because she has a full-fledged working office. I'm working out of my living room, you know. So she's able to pull up all the examples and have all of that. And she has a really good recording advice. I don't know if Brett Cooper goes live. I wonder if she does. She should. If she doesn't, she'd probably get a bigger audience and the conversation could explode. But so that's my opinion on that, because diving into our weekend forecast for our horoscopes, that's kind of the overarching effect of this whole month. Because of Pluto and Jupiter's influence, it is going, the details of things are going to be exposed. You're going, with Pluto's influence, you're going to be wanting to dive into the details and fix things. With Jupiter's influence, you're going to have a little bit of the passive aggressive, egotistical energy coming in. So truthfully, energies for everybody, for all signs, energies are going to be flying in from every angle this weekend. This from Friday, Saturday, Thursdays, we're actually all good, y'all, for tonight. Good energies are flowing for tonight. I'm talking because Mercury retrograde has already taken hold and it's starting the slowdown. And for a lot of us, the slowdown was needed, so it's good. This is more for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and into Monday. Okay. And truthfully, the shift for Pluto is going to affect the next 10 years, and the shift for, I believe, Venus is going to affect the rest of the month. So a lot of what I'm going to say today is going to be repeated throughout the month with varying details in between. Okay, so for Aries, I'm going to take a sip real quick because this usually takes me an hour to get through this. Let's see if I can shorten it down from an hour. And yeah, yes, for anybody who is like, what? Yes, go back and look. It literally takes me an hour to get through the horoscopes. All right, so Aries. Friday is going to start off with creative, solution-oriented energy. Okay, problem solving. You are going, because of the Venus influence, this is going to give you the creativeness that you need. With the Pluto influence, you're going to be able to see the details and make the corrections that you need to make. Use it to your advantage, okay? Mars retrograde is going to cause you to want to reassess the details. Use this with the problem-solving creative energies, and the outcomes you can come up with this weekend to apply on Monday could be revolutionary for every area of your life, okay? Be careful not to make personal relationships, more complicated than they already are. If business is going good, no need to complicate the relationship. If your personal relationships are going good, let things ride. Remember that right now, with a lot of the influence, the passive aggressive behavior from other people that you might pick up on may not necessarily be directed at you or coming from anything you've done. So this will be a good time to just kind of let things, if people are being a little irritating, just kind of let them go. Okay. Turn to the past later this weekend or later this Friday to look for answers. Basically, if you're trying to figure out solutions for this weekend, check out what you did earlier this week. See where any fall shorts happened or any achievements happened, and see if you can apply them in the future. Again, they're coming in that the passive aggressive energies are going to start Friday night and into Saturday, so be careful with that. It's into Saturday, you're going to have good, light, whimsical type energy coming in. This would be a great time to go out and do it a little bit of adventure seeking. If you've been kind of if there's that special gift for somebody that you have to go do a little hunting for, tomorrow is actually going to be a great day with energies for you to be able to find it. So use that to your advantage. It's going to bring in good adventurous type energies that will be for good new endeavors. So literally, if you never walked into that shop before and you've always wanted to, do that tomorrow. They're referencing that Pluto is going to bring in more of an awakening energy for you, which will allow for deeper problems, reasoning and problem solving energies, solution-oriented energies. This is what happens when we try to think too fast and our mouth can't keep up. So basically, you're going to get even more insights into anything that you've been thinking about on Friday that you might have to implement on Monday. Loving and persuasive energies are also going to come into the afternoon. Allow these energies to lead you to solutions with loving pursuits in mind. So let's just say, for instance, you have that difficult employee that you're trying to figure out how to have a conversation with. This weekend will give you some good energy to be able to think about that situation and how to best address it. And you'll be able to address it with an understanding and a caring type of energy. And hold on, guys, I'm going to save this real quick and drop it down so I can plug in my laptop, because we like to keep her charged, right? Right. Okay. So, basically, they're referencing that if you start using the energies of this weekend of the Jupiter transient and the Pluto change with the Venus energies, you could be making plans that will satisfy you in the long term. And considering we're starting into pre-planning for the new year, because it is December, if you haven't started planning for January of next month, honey, what are you doing? You're behind. Time to catch up. Okay. So use this weekend to address any of the deeper issues, any of the lessons that you might have avoided or maybe need to pay attention to, and just look to see how you can smooth out things for next year, because Aries, next year, success is going to be on the forefront of things. So the last thing you're going to have to want to worry about is the little details of the little things that you didn't finish up for last year. Okay. Those things, if you do not tie up the loose ends and finish all the, complete those projects for this year, they will haunt you. They're not just going to follow you into the new year. They will haunt you next year. Okay. Tauruses, you've had Friday is literally going to be full of free-spirited type energies. For some of my Tauruses, you're probably going to want to get up and go for that morning run. You're probably going to want to get up and do that morning yoga or that morning meditation. There might not be coffee in your morning, Tauruses, because the energies are going to be that kind of energy where you are able to feed off of other people. So your coffee is going to come from conversations with others. And that's all day Friday until Mars retrograde comes into the afternoon. However, they're referencing that this is going to be the kind of energy that actually causes you to slow down in a meaningful way. Okay. It's going to cause you to want to kind of look back and reminisce on this past year and what has gone on this past year, and just kind of take into amends what you're happy for. They're referencing that even though this stuff is coming into the forefront Friday afternoon, it's not the best energy to be making decisions, at least quick ones anyway. If you want to come up with multiple ways of planning something out, this will be the best time to brainstorm and find those multiple paths. Stick to areas and projects that you're comfortable with. Try not to start anything too new this weekend. It's more about improving the family and home life. Okay, and family relations. So maybe not so much of the DIY projects on the house, but maybe more of sitting down and having that conversation with your daughter to connect better. Okay, so for the weekends, Taurus, you're going to have very attractive energies to start off with on Saturday. And this is going to have a focus on business pursuits for some reason. And that's not necessarily a good thing on Saturday. However, we can't control what energies come in and when. Okay. They are saying that Pluto will bring in good energies for the afternoon that will allow you to overcome any obstacles that presented themselves this week. And they're referencing too that a lot of the obstacles that presented themselves this week were probably very professional type obstacles where you had to resort to very professional people's influence to help you mend them. They're referencing that this is going to continue with this Pluto, okay, of this unbalanced, where you're going to have to figure out how to both balance your perspective of things and how other people's perspective is, okay? And you're going to have to find the middle ground. For the next month, basically. How you see things, Tauruses, is not how other people see things. So gaining and asking questions and asking for perspectives is going to be your saving grace in a lot of situations. Okay. Coming into the Saturday and coming into Sunday of the weekend, there's a lot of energy that's going to be redefining future goals for you. You might not be necessarily happy with a lot of the things, a lot of the situations in your life right now. This is going to be a good time to kind of reassess and re-navigate and readdress, because Pluto is going to make you see that maybe when everybody else seems wrong, maybe it's not everybody else. And sometimes if you can avoid reacting, not react instead of reacting, you'll find that you can actually control the situation better. Okay, so Tauruses, learning how to balance things is going to be a major lesson for you moving into the new year. All right, Geminis. Friday is going to come in with the same kind as Aries, with the problem-solving energies in the morning, except you're going to have a little bit more emotional stability, not stabilization. I don't think stabilization is a word. Stability is a word, though. Okay. So, but you're going to have more emotional stability in your decision-making. It's not going to be so much off the cuff or off the, flying off the seat of your pants type. You're going to be a little bit more grounded in your energy. This is going to be a good time to have those close interactions and communications that you've been hoping to have or avoiding. They are referencing that Mars retrograde for you is going to bring in a focus on your personal interests and interactions. You're going to be weeding down your friend field, pretty much, is a lot of what I see for Geminis. You're going to figure out that, some people, you don't share the same interests and values, and really being friends with them don't bring that much value to your life. And, it's okay to slim things down a little bit. You've been stretching yourself really thin this year, Geminis, for other people. And so the December lesson is learning who is worth stretching yourself for and who is not. Okay. Jupiter is going to bring in detailed energies into the afternoon that is going to bring to highlight a lot of those reasons to slim down the stuff in your life. Try not to get lost in your own interests to self-distract. You don't want to just move past the thoughts that you're having. You definitely this weekend want to address and assess the thoughts you're having. I highly recommend journaling this weekend for Geminis, okay? Not so much balancing of the two sides, but coming to a cohesion. Geminis, if you try to balance both sides, oftentimes you find too much conflict within the two. So finding a middle ground, or learning to agree to disagree, or having to understand that sometimes what you want to do is not necessarily, what you have to do is not necessarily what you want to do. Okay. For Cancers, honey, Cancers, my heart goes out to you this weekend, along with Tauruses and Virgos. Ow, that hurts. Why does that? That's like pinching my ear. That hurt. So you are definitely, Cancers are going to have a strong urge to want to balance or control these energies, to try to raid them in, because there's so many things shifting and changing right now, from Pluto to Mars retrograde to Mercury retrograde to Venus to Jupiter. You've got too many things flying in from too many angles to be able to put your thumb down on any of these energies, okay? Patience is going to be a virtue for you, Cancer, through this whole month, only because these are the type of energies you don't like. You could be walking on solid ground and still not feel like you're finding your footing. And that's kind of how this month is going to go for you. Mars retrograde is going to bring this attention to business and finances. Be mindful not to over exaggerate circumstances that are right in front of you. If the bank account is only below $5, don't react like it's below $500. Make sure that you're keeping your emotions and your mind in the middle of situations and not overreacting. Don't let Mars and Mercury retrogrades influence cause you to act adversely to a situation that you're going to regret and have to apologize for later. Okay. You're into the end of Friday, you're going to have heightened anxiety and emotions in coming into the weekend, which is not good for you, considering Cancers like to relax when it comes to this weekend. So they're referencing that maybe it's time to use this energy to see if life needs a major overhaul. Okay. This might not be just small changes that you need to make, Cancers, this month. This might be one of those full life 180s, I'm done with everything and moving on to door number 2 type situation, okay? They're referencing that this weekend, a lot of intimate and passionate energies are going to influence your decision. So if you have, along with Pluto amping up this intensity, so if you have been fighting with your loved one, just know, Cancers, it's going to get worse this weekend. For the rest of you, if you haven't been fighting with your loved ones, all the little irritable things that have ever bugged you about them are going to come into the forefront. There is going to be a lot of confident energy coming in with Jupiter for you into the afternoon. However, you need to mind your manners and not be the passive aggressive jerk that sometimes Cancers can be. Don't let your emotions overwhelm you and others. If you need to, step away to reorganize your thoughts, reorganize your emotions before you address any major situations. Towards the end of the weekend, you are going to have an uplifting, magical, refreshing type energy come in. And you're going to have basically a breath of fresh air on Sunday that is much needed. Okay. They are referencing, however, though, to not let yourself get too lost in the dreamlike energy. You still need to pay attention to the things that need to be addressed in life because there's just a lot going on for you, Cancers. Saturn is going to give you a little release. However, it is also going to make you turn and address the areas that you have been avoiding. Okay, so towards the end of the weekend, Cancers, you're going to be doing a lot of repair work when it comes to your life. And if you don't, it's just going to start getting worse for you. Let's just say for Cancers, when I do the meditation on it, they show me a surfer at the top of the wave. And right now you are at the top of the wave, but that wave is getting bigger. And if you don't figure out how to balance on your surfboard now, when that wave grows beneath your feet, the chances of your fall is just going to increase. And Cancers are usually pretty good at maintaining their footing. That's why they're giving this warning out, because if you do end up falling, the fall is going to be huge. Okay? Leos and Virgos, just be forewarned, it's worse for you. You're coming up after Leo. So Leos, do not try to don't try to control tomorrow for the life of you. Okay. Tomorrow is going to literally feel like a wildfire burning out of control. Disorganized, disruptive energies, causing you to literally rethink, reevaluate everything. Okay. It seems like in the morning, you are just not happy with anything. Truthfully, your favorite meal could be placed in front of you, and for some reason, you're going to hate it. Okay. They are referencing that Mars retrograde is actually going to help you in this case because it's going to bring the slowdown that you have needed for the past couple months. It is also going to start, Pluto is also going to start stirring up that creative and imaginative energy again. Referencing basically this month for Leos is very much going to be a forest fire, where at the beginning of the month, you are going to burn it clear and clear the way. And then halfway through, you are going to be that phoenix rising from the ashes. And by the end of the month, you're going to have a brand new forest with a brand new gorgeous, like it's going to be 20 times better. However, they are referencing that, yes, for the past couple months, you've kind of let this forest fire burn, even though subconsciously you haven't really realized it. What they're referencing though is towards the end of Friday, be careful with Jupiter or with Pluto, with Mars energies increasing. Be careful that you don't suffer from your own ego or your own level of frustrations, okay? Not everything can be perfect. Keep in mind that these energies, especially for like Cancers and Virgos, are nuts. And they can't control them. They're trying to control them. They're trying to figure out why they can't control them. And their best bet right now is to either hide or end up popping off on someone. So for Leos, just take that into consideration, that you don't, before you re-examine, reassess, reevaluate the situation before you decide to just react. Okay. They're referencing on they're emphasizing on making sure that you're planning for change. And try and yeah, because the evening is going to be plan for the big changes, but smooth over any of the little things is the kind of energy that you're going to have for Friday afternoon. Into the weekend, though, you're going to have strong energies on personal relationships. And this is kind of a good thing, because for the last month, the fire has been burning for everything else around you as you've just kind of been walking through and navigating it. Okay. However, they're kind of referencing that you maybe have been negating the partner that's been following you through all this. So this weekend, there's reference that things are going to turn towards those partners and those relationships. Venus is going to help you make peace with any rough edges that need to be sorted out. Luckily, it's going to bring in a level of understanding and sympathy and empathy from your partner that is going to be needed. They're also referencing that you're with Pluto's influence, you're going to have strong on the edge type energies where you're going to feel that push and that need to make changes, but they're referencing to hold off right now. Yes, the need and the push is there. It's not the right timing yet. So throw your energy into projects that are already on the back burner, things that you haven't gotten done yet. Finish up those projects that when you go into the new year, you can kind of be like, oh, you know what? I already did that. I've got other things that I can plan for. Okay. They're referencing that Jupiter will bring an influence at the end of a week or end of the weekend, allowing you to come up with breakthroughs for these projects. So if you are struggling with any issues on Monday, they're referencing that all this weekend, basically those little tables and wheels are going to be spinning in the background because of the energies, and those epiphanies or that mind-blowing light bulb effect that you need on Monday is going to start happening on Sunday. So keep that in mind and use it to your advantage. Okay. For my Virgos, I think I always say this where I'm like, we're almost done when I hit Virgos. And it's like, no, you're not. You're not almost done. All right. So for my Virgos, on Friday, you're going to have creative and romantic energies flowing in the morning. You're going to be very lovey-dovey in the morning. Cora, this will be good for you because the kids. So you might be able to use this as a good manipulation tactic to kind of give yourself a little bit of break. Okay. You're going to have a strong appreciation for the relationships around you. So yeah, just very strong Venus, lovey-dovey, home, hearth, family type energies all morning tomorrow. Mercury retrograde is actually not going to affect you that much. It already has affected you. During this, Mercury retrograde was more of the effect. Mercury retrograde was more of the kick in the pants. Mars, not so much. However, they're referencing that Pluto is going to be bringing in that anxious, anxiety, uncomfortable energy that you often like to avoid. Okay. And this is a problem only because this can end up affecting you negatively because it's going to last throughout the rest of the month. Okay. So if you're feeling like you're going to be itching your pants tomorrow, that's why, because it's just Pluto's influence is going to rub you the wrong way. They're referencing that Pluto might bring in the influences where you might have to realize that what is in the past is in the past and you just need to forget and move forward. No point on dwelling, no point crying over spilled milk, especially when you've already cleaned it up. Okay, keep that in mind for Friday evening. Going into Saturday, you're going to have, again, the Venus influence pushes again towards the family, the hearth, and the home. However, you're going to have a good sense of harmony come in this weekend. So Cora, it's a good idea that you maybe want to hide this weekend, because you're going to have the harmony that you kind of want, a little taste of it coming in this weekend. And that's when things start changing, because Pluto's undertone and Jupiter's undertone start conflicting for you. Okay. So Pluto is going to bring in a strong motivational kick, but with an undertone of sensitive emotional energies. And Virgos, man, do you hate feeling sensitive, especially when you can't pinpoint exactly why you're feeling sensitive. And that is exactly what's going to happen with Pluto's influence for you, okay? Use this energy to maybe identify problem areas rather than let it drive you crazy. See if there is any way that you can nip those little things in the butt that have been irritating and frustrating you. Because they're referencing, if you don't, this is just going to compile and compact towards the end of the year. Okay. The bright side is Jupiter is going to come in with the energies where you're going to be able to have a lot of revelations. However, this is going to bring in a lot of pressure on yourself to make these changes. Virgos, you guys are very mutable factor, or I think it's cardinal factors. You guys like to put your feet in the ground and not move. And they're referencing that Jupiter combined with Pluto's energy and this Mars retrograde is there is no planting your feet and not moving. You're going to have to move. And it's better to do so rewarding yourself rather than beating yourself up. Okay. So they're referencing that because you have to start making these hard decisions and you have to start making these hard changes and you have to start maybe disciplining yourself a little bit better, use a reward system to do so, because the benefit of that reward system is actually going to work for you this time around, versus the energies before just weren't in your favor to do so. Like the reward didn't seem like a reward as much as just like another thing. And they're referencing that the rewards are actually going to be there this time. Okay. So apply yourself discipline, because what you put in place now will just catapult you for next year. Libras. Yeah. Use this time to meet your goals versus weigh you down, was the last note that evidently ended up on the other page. Okay. So Libras, you're feeling for Friday, you're going to be having the overwhelming energies as well. I feel like I already did Libra. Did I already do Libra? No, this is Taurus. No. Why do I feel like overwhelming energies already happened? It didn't. Huh. Brain fart. Okay. That felt weird. Okay, that literally was like a deja vu, because I swear I had already done that. I swear I had already done Libra. That was total and complete deja vu. Okay, so Libras, tomorrow morning you're going to have very overwhelming energies. You're not going to be able to focus really on anything new. Stick to what you're good at. Something that is second nature for you is going to be your best bet tomorrow. They're referencing that this weekend, especially Friday, is going to be about hope for the best, plan for the worst, keep your mind in the middle, and navigate accordingly. Look for the happiness in the little things. Look for the pleasures in the small joys. Okay. Mars retro will be challenging you this time around. Okay. Those underlying energy, those underlying feelings are going to ruffle to the surface. It seems like everything is going to get on your nerves. Every little irritation, every little frustration, everybody is going to seem to ruffle your feathers and just irk you. Okay. manifestation is not possible right now for Libras. The energies just aren't in your favor. So it's better just to plan right now and figure out maybe what you want to start manifesting on for the new year versus actually doing it. December for Libras is definitely one of those months where you are not going to be able to accomplish what you want to accomplish when you want to accomplish it. January is going to be more your month. There's no like Libras, Virgo. Oh, it wasn't Virgos. It was Libras. I am sorry, Cora. I kept saying it was Virgos, but it was Libras that are having the bad year, along with Taurus. You're like Libras, you're kind of in the same boat with Taurus, where just nothing is going to go your way this month. It is just going to feel like negative energies are all around you and constantly attacking you, and that no matter what you do, you can't get your head above water. They're referencing that you're going to have a little bit of a break this weekend with Venus coming in with a loving energy. However, they're referencing that you need to turn this inwards and give yourself a little bit of self-soothing and self-acceptance and self-love. You are going to appeal more so to others. However, allow more for finding value in connections versus just getting flattery. They're referencing that Pluto is going to bring in a better idea, a better, clearer view of the bigger picture, especially when it comes to financial situations by the end of the year. You're going to be able to, this will allow you to be able to embrace any changes that you've been trying to make. They're referencing that you need to be a little bit more absorbing of information rather than demanding of the things you want. Persuasiveness is going to be your best bet in getting what your needs met. Okay. However, be careful from being passive aggressive or egotistical in order to get and manipulative to get your way. Okay. Be persuasive, not passive aggressive. Ambitious energies do come in strongly starting at into Sunday and into Monday, but they are referencing that even though there's that strong drive to move forward, other energies are not aligning with you accordingly. So again, it's going to be a good time to dive into those personal projects that you're good at, that you already know, that are second nature for you, and just be creative and find new solutions within projects that you're comfortable. Okay. Sagittariuses are having a little bit better time than Libras. Libras, oh my gosh. Just tapping in the energy for Libras is like, that is some weighty energy, man. Wow. Libras and Tauruses, man. That is just some suffocating energy. Wow. Oh, as soon as I let that go, it was just like, whee. Anyway, so Libras, I feel for you. Please take care of yourself. Sagittarius says, you got good energy. You're complete polar opposite of Libra. It's like we go from completely depressed to absolute like cloudy, stormy day to complete sunshine with Sagittarius. Okay. Have fun with it. You've got great energy to be attention to details, to address difficult solutions that you've been avoiding. You're able to see the problem, organize the thoughts in detail, and basically flow with these energies in both relations and communications. Use it to your advantage. Mars retrograde, for some reason, this was the only one I saw this with, but like legal issues. I thought it was really weird that they brought in like justice during this time. That was the card that came up, was justice. And so it was like, they're showing, like, they kept showing me like public relation issues, legal problems. That is what Mars is going to bring into the forefront for Sagittariuses. And I thought that was interesting because they're also referencing that with Venus's and then Pluto's energy that comes in, you're going to be actually turning to past situations to find solutions to current problems. They're referencing that for Sagittarius's, the solution to what you're going through right now already happened at the beginning of the year. Go back and look, because you either did it right or did it wrong at the beginning of the year. And that's where your answer is going to lie for this situation that's happening right now. You're repeat for Sagittariuses, they're referencing that you're repeating a life pattern this year. What you didn't accomplish last year, you're actually accomplishing this year, and that's why you have this for you. All weekend, Sagittariuses, you have great energy for communication. It's going to be a great time to start new endeavors, start projects that you've had on the back burner. Pluto just brings in more energy towards personal relationships and focus with intensity and attention to details. Like honestly, revitalizing energies to come in mid-weekend. You're going to be expressive, you're going to be charming. Like energies are just completely on your side this weekend, Sagittariuses, and this month. Roll with it. You guys, Sagittariuses, have had a rough couple of years coming up to this point. Business, financial matters really haven't been your forefront or your navigation expertise, but they're referencing that is going to start changing, because you're going to be able to watch. The Jupiter is going to not only allow you to bring in the charming influences to be able to get your way, but you are going to be able to maybe sweet talk deals. Just watch again from being passive aggressive, because fire signs tend to pick that up from the Jupiter energy. And just keep yourself from being overwhelmed with your priorities. Just because you have the energy and the oomph and the fire to go and do it doesn't mean you need to take on everything all at once. Pace yourself, plan. Sometimes it's okay to stand back and watch as things flow versus being in the middle of it. Okay. Learn to balance those energies and those types of situations through this weekend. So Capricorns, this whole weekend is about self-examination, self-revelations, self-changes, and doing a complete, maybe doing a complete 180 in your life. Okay. It starts off with absolutely self-examining energies on Friday, turning into which Venus allows you to bring out your more uniqueness, your unique style, your optimistic viewpoint on the world. However, this is going to be short-lived, because Mars retrograde is going to bring in the attention to your personal relations and detailed financial matters. And if we know Capricorns, two things they struggle with is financial matters and personal relationships. So be careful to watch for the negative energies that come in to affect with those situations coming into Friday afternoon and into the evening. If you need to, if you need to, it's okay to put plans for next weekend if you need a little bit of time to figure out your finances. You don't always have to be in the middle of things. This kind of same thing with Sagittarius is. You don't always have to be in the middle of things to be involved in them. Okay. When it comes to this weekend, finding happiness in the little things is what's going to help you get through the weekend. Energies are going to cause you to focus on, like, the negatives and the red flags are going to be all highlighted this weekend. So use your natural talents to distract and divert from any negative stuff that comes up. Pluto's influence, again, is going to bring in stronger effects on the business and money matters, which if you're struggling financially, this could cause a huge negative hit to you. Use this to, instead of making the same mistakes of the past, use this energy to address those mistakes and turn solutions towards the long term instead of short term. Maybe it's time to stop with the Band-Aid fixes and start looking for the overall healing effect of decision making. Okay. They're referencing that you're going to have good energy with Jupiter's influence to iron out any details that you've maybe come across this weekend. And remember to adjust your expectations if needed. Not everybody has the same requirements and expectations that you do. And sometimes in order to move forward, you're going to have to come to an agreement to disagree or change your expectations to match someone else's. Okay. So for Aquarius, now we're almost done. 3 more. So for Aquarius, Fridays is going to be overwhelming and chaotic energy for you. However, that's only going to be the morning. Okay. You're going to want to spend basically the whole morning on Friday just kind of admiring life from a distance. Sit back, watch with your cup of coffee, Aquariuses. Be more of the watcher than the entertainer. And look for anything you've been missing in the social department. Like, are your friends really up to par and being the friends that you need? Or are you just keeping them around because you're lonely and you need company? Mars retrograde is going to bring in more energy to this effect with your partnership sector. And it might be good to keep a little distance from social situations as you address and reassess this issue. Watch for your passive aggressive energy in the afternoon with this Jupiter, or with Pluto's influence beginning, or Jupiter's influence beginning, and use the time to assess new ways and better ways to communicate and express yourself amongst others. Basically, Friday is going to be all about learning how to reword yourself so you don't come off sounding like such a jerk. The weekend's influences, they're referencing for you, this whole weekend is going to be about how, even though you are able to see the light that lights your way, the bigger picture, the overall destination of the path, that doesn't mean that you don't need to spend time finding your footing on the path you're on. They're referencing that Pluto and Jupiter's energies are going to be all about bringing your sight back down to what's right in front of you. You've been walking a path for a little bit, Aquarius is. However, you may not necessarily have been paying attention to what exactly you're walking on, and that is exactly what December is going to bring in. They're going to be freeing type energies. However, old emotions are going to start bubbling to the surface. And this is why they're referencing that you might be walking down this path, but this month is going to be about you taking your focus that, yeah, you're walking on this path. Is it the path that you actually want to be walking on? Because there's your destination, and your destination looks great, but is the road getting there going to be that good? And it seems like what they're showing me with Aquarius's energies is you guys really have been lacking on maintaining that road that you're walking on. And that's kind of why you've been stumbling and falling over yourself. And this month is going to be all about finding that balance with the conflicts and to figure out how to smooth out that path so that you're not constantly stumbling while you're trying to get to that bigger picture. They're referencing that, even though you're trying to find that balance, you're going to get thrown off into Monday because Jupiter has a tendency to stretch you beyond your own limits because it gives you that amplified push of energy that you want, which means that if you're not paying attention to that, you could easily slip and fall and end up exhausted by Monday, which is the start of the week. And we don't want that to happen. So make sure that you're navigating the energy flows accordingly and don't overextend yourself this weekend. We need to make the fixes, but we don't need to make all the fixes all in one weekend. Okay? Pisces, good communication energies and connecting energies are going to start off the weekend for you on Friday with the nurturing and loving energies as well. Mars retrograde is going to affect your health sector, surprisingly, bringing in more issues about your physique and your body. Try not to let these energies affect you negatively. Everybody is different. You don't have to be in a predetermined mold that is set by, standards that are unachievable. Okay. You're going to feel a pull towards the afternoon on Friday to address old projects. And basically old frustrations are going to reveal themselves that maybe you weren't aware of. So use the enhanced energy to basically temporarily avoid the situation, because that's what they're referencing, is those energies are just going to be temporary. Into the weekends for Saturday and Sunday, you're going to have a lot of ability to be diplomatic, assertive, but not aggressive. There's going to be a beauty in your balance, basically. And it's going to allow you to be able to protect your inner self for a little bit longer. Basically, because this month, towards the end of this month, the inner you is going to have to bubble to the surface in order to get through these energies, which is not going to be the easiest thing for Pisces. So just be aware. Don't let any pent-up frustrations or irritations come to the forefront. Make sure that you're navigating them correctly. They're referencing that Pluto is going to bring in some epiphanies for you and some revelations. Use this to influence your plans for the future. If you've been noticing that you've been wanting to make changes and you couldn't figure out how to make the changes, use Pluto's revelations to help you move forward with that. They are showing that Jupiter also is going to bring in energy for you to have new revelations. So you're going to have a double whammy this weekend. So you're going to be able to fine tune your life pretty much all the way down to your interpersonal if you use these energies accordingly this weekend. Pisces, you have amazing energies to basically renew, revamp, and revise. And I highly suggest it, because anything you push forward on right now for Pisces, it's just going to keep flowing. You lucky fish, just keep swimming up the river, y'all. Pisces. Like, I was doing that reading and I was just like, I can't believe how easy Pisces have it right now when every other sign is like, whoo. So I'm just grateful because I'm a Scorpio and I've been struggling, and my mom's a Pisces. And if she's struggling at the same time I'm struggling, her and I butt heads. So Anyway, Scorpios, speaking of Scorpios. Okay, so Friday is going to be all about learning and navigating new energies. And basically that's been the name of the game for the last 2 days. So it ain't no new rodeo for you. Just keep doing it. You're having to learn how to balance your work and your personal life. But this is the good news is if you've noticed, this is actually becoming second nature. Balancing these two things has never been very easy, and you seem to be flowing in and out of these things very easily currently. Mars retrograde is going to affect your enthusiasm for new projects. You know, that excitement that that Scorpios usually have, that mysterious excitement. Mars, unfortunately, in retrograde is going to pull that back. But it is a good thing, because they're saying that this is a good energy to be readdressing and redoing old projects. It's time to basically reveal, bury frustrations, renew old energies, and temporarily address any problem areas that may be enhanced by this energy. So, which is very interesting, because for me, I know, like, you guys just heard me talking about it. I'm going back and I'm redoing my outline in a completely different way, and it seems to be working better. So even I am navigating with these energies like this. Okay, into the weekend for Scorpios, you're going to also have very diplomatic, beautiful energies that will allow you to guide and navigate your inner self with your interpersonal relationships. Pluto is going to bring in an intensity to your mysterious and your mysterious factor. They're referencing that this is a good weekend to take that leap of faith. For a better future. If you've been, go that extra mile, take that leap of faith, do that thing that you haven't been doing, turn that direction that you've been wanting to turn, go around the river bend for once. I I could use 100 different explanations of it. So they're referencing that as the weekend rounds off, watch for false ideals and inflated dreams. The mysteriousness and fanciful for Scorpios, don't get lost in it when Sunday comes to an end. Keep an eye on the light that's guiding the way, but make sure that you're double checking where you're stepping as you go. For the most part, they're referencing that Scorpios have been working on creating and smoothing out that path. However, this month is going to be about lifting your eyes towards the bigger picture and learning that balance, that same work and personal life balance that Scorpios have managed to achieve. You're going to start achieving that same balance in regards to seeing the bigger pictures along with the finite details. Okay. And that is our wrap up for the weekend in regards to horoscopes. And that took an hour and a half this time. Anyway, but that is the end of our stream. So I appreciate everybody. First of all, I appreciate everybody that's come in, everybody that spent time to watch. Please like and subscribe and do the YouTube things. I'm really hoping to get more subscribers on my channel and entertain more people and have more conversations coming. Keep an eye out for the posting of Law Tea with Cora and Kibby coming soon. Probably in January is when we're going to end up actually launching the first podcast. Cora and I are just struggling with energies and sicknesses and sick babies and family stuff and holidays. We're chugging along in the background, but actually getting it published and onto the forefront is, we're taking our time with it because we want it to be, we don't want this to be just a thrown together something. We want it to be a value for a lot of our subscribers. So just know that that is coming. It's in the works. It's probably going to be more around January that happens. Be sure to check out the interview with the author with Cora that I did. That is still on my channel. And I also posted the most recent WitchCasket unboxing in short form. So in case you want to see that. The Wicked review should be coming this weekend. I am going out tonight, which is something I haven't done in quite some time. So forgive me, I won't be editing videos on my Thursday night. Looks like that'll be my Friday night though. So I will see you guys next Wednesday, 1 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. And thank you for coming. Until then, have a great time. Or until then, I hope you have a wonderful, blessed, happy, positive energy time.